The waste and corruption that's been taking place at USAID has been raking in millions of dollars from the agency that's supposed to be focused on providing foreign aid.
It's fake, it's fraudulent, it's probably kickbacks where they send the money and then it gets kicked back to the person that sent it.
In a shocking twist of scandal, the FBI is hot on the trail of USAID officials who fled the country following a dramatic arrest order. Explosive evidence reveals a staggering $100 billion in misappropriated funds, sparking a relentless manhunt and exposing deep corruption. As President Trump's crackdown upends the global aid empire, accusations of betrayal and unchecked power mount. This saga will leave you questioning America's foreign aid policies and the explosive fallout shaking the world. Prepare for mind-blowing revelations. Newly uncovered evidence of massive corruption. Across the nation, citizens are demanding that government agencies, especially those in charge of foreign aid, be run in a fair and transparent way. For many, the news of wasted funds and secret deals has sparked anger and a call to fix an old system that has let corruption run unchecked for too long.
I think it's close to $40 million of additional support, and those contracts are out there and they're working now. They're providing logistical support both to the mission and to the Haitian National Police. Those are facts.
This push for reform has gotten louder as shocking evidence of mismanaged money and fraudulent spending has come to light. Reports have shown that billions of dollars meant for helping other nations have been misused or even stolen. These funds, which were meant for building schools, hospitals, and helping the poor, have sometimes ended up in private accounts or used to support powerful figures. The failure to track every dollar has left many taxpayers feeling betrayed by a system that allowed corruption to thrive behind closed doors. Critics, including well-known figures like Elon Musk and political leaders, have called on those in power to demand that every transaction be made public, and that new technologies, such as blockchain, be put in place to monitor where the money goes. At the heart of these calls for change is a belief that a more open and accountable system is needed. People argue that by using simple tools and clear steps, the government can show exactly how funds are spent, making it hard for any bad deals or hidden fees to slip by unnoticed. It is not just about saving money. It is about honoring the trust that American taxpayers place in their government. The hope is that funds meant for building a better future for all will not be wasted on secretive deals and personal gain. The push for reform also extends to better cooperation between government agencies and outside experts who care about the proper use of funds. Voters want to see faster and clearer answers to how money is handled, especially when billions of dollars are involved. Transparency is seen as a key part of restoring trust in the system. The growing chorus of voices is sending a strong message. Every dollar must be accounted for, and those who misuse funds will face serious consequences. FBI launches a major investigation and arrests. In an unexpected twist of events, the FBI has launched a major investigation and made several arrests in connection with what appears to be a wide-ranging corruption scandal.
So the ones that are good, and there are not many of them, but the ones that are good, and there are some, will probably have that be handled by Marco Rubio.
The investigation came following the shocking discovery that billions of dollars intended for charitable projects were found to be missing. Agents found that funds meant for disaster relief, healthcare, and community building overseas had been misdirected, misused, or even stolen. It was only after strong evidence emerged that something was very wrong at USAID that the FBI stepped in. President Trump had given a strong order to stop the wasteful spending when he learned that money was disappearing from accounts meant to help people in need. Soon after that executive order, key officials faced arrest and in some cases even fled the country to avoid being held accountable. The swift move by law enforcement sent shockwaves through the government and the public. Investigators have now uncovered clues that point to a network of corrupt dealings. Money that should have built schools, hospitals, and crucial infrastructure was instead channeled to private accounts and greedy individuals. The poor tracking of every dollar allowed corrupt officials to line their pockets, leaving the projects incomplete and the hopes of many unfulfilled. As agents continue to follow the trail of missing funds, more names and details of corruption have come to light. With the FBI leading a full-scale probe, the aim now is to recover lost money and punish those who abused their power. The investigation, which seems to spread its roots far and wide, is capturing the attention of many ordinary citizens who feel betrayed by a system that promised help and support for those in need. Community leaders, taxpayers, and international humanitarians are all calling for stronger oversight in the use of government funds. This case is seen as a turning point. It is not just about a few missing dollars, but about a deeper call for accountability and clear tracking of funds in every government program. The arrest of officials is only the beginning of a broader battle against corruption in agencies that are meant to serve the public good. The FBI's actions are a strong reminder that no one is above the law and that every dollar must be accounted for. As the investigation unfolds, more shocking details are expected to emerge, and everyone is waiting to see how many more will face justice. This crackdown paves the way for a cleaner, honest government. Direct action from President Trump. From the moment he stepped into office, President Trump made it clear that he would not allow corruption to go unchecked. One of his boldest moves came in the form of direct action against USAID. Allegations of wasted billions and misused funds reached a boiling point, and Trump ordered a swift and dramatic crackdown. He gave a clear command: arrest all USAID officials involved in the misuse of funds and suspend the agency for 90 days. This move shocked not only government insiders but also a nation eager for change. Trump's strong stance was aimed at stopping the flow of money into the hands of those who enriched themselves while the people suffered. Reports indicated that funds meant for disaster relief, schools, hospitals, and food aid were disappearing into private accounts and back rooms of corrupt deals. With direct action, the president sent a message that no one was above the law and that every dollar must be carefully tracked. It was a clear demonstration of his America First policy, insisting that taxpayer money be used to benefit American citizens rather than fund inefficient programs overseas. As soon as the order was announced, the FBI launched a fresh investigation, pursuing detectives to follow every lead. Agents moved quickly to secure evidence and arrest those suspected of fraud. The crackdown was relentless, with officials being held accountable for their actions. Many of the implicated USAID officials fled the country, trying to escape the impending justice. However, Trump's determination and decisive action meant that the net was closing fast on a system with deep-rooted issues. This dramatic intervention from President Trump not only exposed long-standing mismanagement, but also sparked a nationwide debate about government accountability. Citizens, lawmakers, and critics alike demanded that further reforms be implemented to ensure transparent use of funds. New technologies, such as blockchain tracking, were suggested as ways to prevent future mismanagement and corruption. The president's actions ignited hope that a new era of openness and responsibility was finally dawning. Now the nation watches closely as the investigation unfolds and as debates rage on over the future of USAID. President Trump's direct action is setting the stage for change and serves as a powerful reminder that the government must work for the people. It remains to be seen whether these measures will lead to lasting reform, but one thing is clear: the fight against corruption has taken a new, decisive turn under his leadership. This bold step might change everything now. Flight of USAID officials. In the midst of a growing scandal, the dramatic flight of USAID officials has captured national attention. When shocking evidence surfaced showing billions of dollars meant for humanitarian aid had been misused, President Trump ordered immediate arrests of key USAID figures. With the FBI closing in and persistent investigations unraveling years of hidden corruption, many officials chose to flee the country, rather than face the consequences of their actions. Within hours of the announcement, chaos broke out at USAID headquarters. Staff who had long been part of a system built on promises of helping those in need suddenly found themselves trapped by their own mistakes. Rumors spread of trusted leaders hurriedly packing personal belongings, leaving behind important documents and unfinished projects. These officials, desperate to escape the fallout of mounting allegations, slipped away through secret channels and boarded last-minute flights, disappearing into foreign lands. Witnesses described scenes of frantic activity as employees abandoned their desks and left behind clues that hinted at deeper layers of corruption. The flight of these officials did more than remove a few key players. It cast a harsh light on an agency that many believed was once dedicated to genuine aid and support for struggling communities. Instead, allegations grew that millions of dollars destined for schools, hospitals, and disaster relief were being funneled into private pockets and used for personal gain. The public reaction was swift and fierce. Taxpayers, outraged by years of wasted money and hidden deals, demanded accountability from a system that appeared to be rigged in favor of the powerful. Critics argued that the mass exodus of staff was a clear signal of guilt, showing that those responsible were more focused on self-preservation than on serving the public. In the wake of these events, calls for reform intensified, with activists insisting that greater transparency and strict oversight must replace the old, broken ways of managing foreign aid. As investigators continue to piece together the full scope of the mismanagement, the flight of USAID officials remains a stark reminder of the dangers posed by unchecked power. This episode has not only disrupted vital programs meant to support vulnerable communities, but has also left the nation questioning the reliability of its aid agencies. Many now wonder if those who ran the agency had a plan to cover up their wrongs and escape responsibility, leaving the public to bear the cost of a broken system. For now, the mass departure stands as a powerful symbol of chaos and loss, misappropriation of funds, and global impact. The misappropriation of funds by government aid agencies has far-reaching consequences that stretch across the globe. Billions of dollars meant for disaster relief, education, and healthcare have not reached those in need because of corruption and poor management. In many cases, money intended to rebuild communities and save lives ended up in private accounts or was wasted on expensive contracts that offered little real help. This misuse of funds not only betrays the trust of American taxpayers, but also deepens the struggles of people in poorer nations. Countries facing crises, such as those hit by natural disasters or ongoing conflicts, have seen aid money diverted from its intended purpose. Instead of being used to build hospitals, schools, and safe water systems, funds were rerouted to cover high administrative fees and pay for overly expensive services. For example, a project supposed to provide clean water ended with only a few wells built, while millions of dollars vanished. The funds that were meant to help developing nations are now contributing to poor economic growth and a cycle of poverty that is hard to break. The global impact of these financial missteps is profound. When money disappears from one country, it causes a ripple effect that can destabilize entire regions. Local governments may find themselves unable to support essential services such as healthcare, education, and infrastructure. This failure not only hurts communities directly impacted by the crisis, but also weakens trust in international aid programs. Many citizens, both in the United States and abroad, feel betrayed when funds disappear without clear accountability. Critics argue that stronger oversight and clear financial tracking are needed to stop the trend of misused aid money. Simple tools like digital systems could provide real-time tracking of funds and help make sure that every dollar reaches its promised destination. With better systems in place, aid programs could regain trust and make a true difference in the lives of people around the world. In the end, misappropriation of funds hurts more than just the bottom line. It undermines trust in government institutions and international aid. Without proper reforms and clear accountability, misused money continues to fuel instability and poverty, leaving communities in need without the help they deserve. The push for transparent aid tracking is crucial not only for saving billions in wasted funds, but also for building a fairer and more stable world for everyone. Widespread calls for reform and greater transparency. Across the nation, growing calls for reform and greater transparency have been heard. Citizens are upset that billions in funds meant for disaster relief, education, and healthcare have vanished or ended up in private hands. Reports reveal that money meant to support struggling communities is being wasted through hidden deals and poor oversight. This misuse of funds has not only harmed those who need help abroad, but has also betrayed American taxpayers who deserve to know where every dollar goes. Many people are now demanding that government agencies, especially USAID, adopt simple yet effective changes. They argue that a clear system to track every transaction is needed. Some suggest using digital tools like blockchain technology that can record funds in real time, ensuring that money reaches its intended destination. With better tracking, it would be much harder for corrupt officials to hide behind complicated deals and waste millions. In recent years, an alarm has been raised by whistleblowers and concerned experts who say that aid money has been diverted into the hands of a few powerful individuals. These revelations have led to a strong call for more openness and stronger rules. People wonder why money meant for building hospitals and schools instead fuels hidden agendas and luxury lifestyles for officials. This public distrust is now shaking the very foundation of aid programs, sparking debates in boardrooms and at dinner tables across the country. The push for transparency is also seen as a way to restore faith in government. Americans believe that if proper reforms are put in place, the funds that once disappeared could be used for real change in communities around the world. They want to see not only strict financial records, but also greater accountability for those in charge. Every step in the process should be visible to the public, turning secrets into an open book that anyone can read. This growing movement for reform and transparency cuts across all political lines. From everyday citizens to experts in government and business, there is a strong belief that change is needed now more than ever. With the right steps taken, government agencies can become true champions of public good, ensuring that every dollar counts and aid reaches those who need it most. The call for reform is a call for hope, a hope that a more honest system is possible and that public funds are used as intended. Only with clear reform can trust be rebuilt and every taxpayer dollar be spent. The fallout on live TV. In a sudden, shocking development that stunned all her viewers, Kayleigh McEnany's reputation as a powerful voice of the conservatives and a Trump loyalist was tested during a live broadcast on Fox News. Surprisingly, the events leading to McEnany's exit from Fox News began during a live analysis of Republican primary polls a few months ago. Little did she know that her frank assessment of President Trump's chance would have a ripple effect on her career. McEnany told viewers she doubts Trump's overwhelming dominance among other candidates, especially Ron DeSantis.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the governor of Florida, Ron DeSantis.
If you think that was all, you are in for a shock. McEnany reported further that Trump's lead over Florida Governor Ron DeSantis was narrower than previously indicated. To make matters worse, she noted a mere difference of 25 points between DeSantis and Trump rather than 34. For the Republican frontrunner, this deviation from his preferred narrative was unacceptable. What Trump did next left everyone rattled. Keep watching to find out. Trump immediately took to Truth Social, his social media platform, to rebuke McEnany. In a scathing post, he referred to her as milquetoast. His criticism did not end there. He called her a rhino, a short form for Republican in name only, and called for Fox News to use real stars rather than bad reporters. This public attack shocked many political observers, considering McEnany's steadfast loyalty to Trump during her tenure as White House press secretary from April 2020 to January 2021. Her rapid responses and fierce defense of Trump in press briefings earned her a reputation for being tough on the media and deeply committed to Trump's messages. To see her loyalty repaid with a public rebuke caught both her supporters and critics off guard, turning what was meant to be a normal news segment into a political controversy. That is not all. Recall that Trump also called for her sacking. Many observers believe he took things a bit far. Interestingly, this is not the first time that Trump and McEnany would engage in public banter. In 2016, McEnany was a CNN contributor who was highly critical of Trump. By 2021, she had transformed into one of his most visible defenders. When she was appointed to the White House by Trump, she radically changed from skepticism to unwavering support for Trump.
While in 2016, President Trump became the duly elected president, many sought to undermine him, discredit him, delegitimize him, and deny his victory.
By the time she stepped into the role of press secretary, she had already proven her allegiance, often clashing with reporters while delivering Trump's talking points with precision and confidence. McEnany admitted that the incident was not the first time she had faced backlash for comments made on air, but it was the most severe. It was also the first time someone she considers an ally would openly call for her sacking for discharging her professional duty. That is not all. She also noted that past criticism was often constructive and often came from outside sources or political opponents. This rebuke was personal and direct. She feels attacked and overwhelmed. The stakes were higher because it involved her credibility as a journalist and a former government spokesperson. For a second, let's take our minds off McEnany. Her employer suffered almost a bigger blowback, and their reaction to the crisis left McEnany rattled. Before the crisis, Fox News faced criticism for its close ties to Trump. When the crisis erupted, the network found itself in an awkward position. On one hand, McEnany was a valuable asset. Her tenure as press secretary had made her a popular and trusted figure among conservative viewers. On the other hand, the network could not afford to ignore its core audience, many of whom remain loyal to Trump. The situation put Fox News in a tight spot, raising questions about its editorial direction and how much it would continue to align itself with Trump's political narrative. According to anonymous sources, some senior board members expressed concern over the incident, suggesting that McEnany's credibility had been unfairly undermined. McEnany's mates and the general public's reaction to Trump's criticism of McEnany is interesting. Let us examine that up close. Reactions to Trump's criticism of McEnany.
Well, first, let me note, I was asked a question on Fox Business about the president's travel restrictions. I noted what was the intent behind those travel restrictions, which is we will not see the coronavirus come here, we will not see terrorism come here, referring to an earlier set of travel restrictions.
McEnany's co-hosts on Outnumbered and other Fox personalities did not comment publicly on the controversy. Media experts suggest that the silence spoke volumes. For instance, it could imply internal tensions, division, and debates between journalistic integrity and loyalty to Trump. Trump supporters used social media to defend his position or condemn McEnany's reporting as inaccurate. Meanwhile, a few others criticized Trump for attacking someone who had been one of his most loyal defenders. Political analysts on rival networks like CNN and MSNBC seized the opportunity to show what they viewed as a growing divide between the Republican Party and the pro-Trump media structure. Some critics took it further. According to them, the criticism was part of a broader pattern, the former president's intolerance for dissent, even from those within his inner circle. You won't believe other shocking observations they made about Trump. Trump seems to have formed a habit of criticizing allies when they don't agree with him. For instance, when he had fallouts with former allies such as Michael Cohen, Anthony Scaramucci, and Omarosa Manigault Newman, Trump made harsh comments about them in public. Even with the controversy, McEnany tried to remain calm and composed. During subsequent broadcasts, she did not address Trump's comments directly. Instead, she focused on her role as a political analyst. Analysts believe her decision not to engage in a public feud with Trump was a strategic move to maintain her credibility and avoid further escalations. But reports suggest that McEnany was deeply affected behind the scenes. She had built a career on fierce loyalty. The public dismissal by Trump brought a new reality. Her career and professional identity were being jeopardized by a political figure who could turn on allies at any moment. That is not all. McEnany spent most of her term as White House press secretary clashing with mainstream media over issues such as COVID-19, the Black Lives Matter movement, and the 2020 election results.
What he's doing is he's offering a choice to the American people. We had a novel virus come in from China. The American people have a choice. Open the country safely with President Trump.
Even after leaving the White House, McEnany frequently praised Trump on Fox News, describing him as the future of the Republican Party. She also defended his policies as beneficial to America, advocating for his leadership style and dismissing criticisms as media bias. This consistent support made her one of the most prominent defenders of his legacy on television. Observers also noted that Trump never once endorsed McEnany's Fox News career. Instead, her loyalty was taken for granted. McEnany Aslow complained about Trump's double standards. For instance, figures such as Rudy Giuliani, Steve Bannon, and Marjorie Taylor Greene had, at various points, departed from Trump's narrative, but surprisingly, he forgave them. McEnany did not enjoy the same leniency. McEnany also feels offended because Trump refused to offer an apology or retraction following the milquetoast comment. Political commentators believe their relationship was never built on mutual respect, but utility. The reaction of conservative media outlets also surprised everyone. How did they respond? Did they offer any support to McEnany? Get ready as we reveal the disappointing response from fellow conservative media outlets. Conservative outlets like Newsmax and Breitbart did not discuss the incident, while mainstream networks such as CNN and MSNBC seized the opportunity to attack both McEnany and Trump. We mentioned earlier that she regularly works with liberal outlets like CNN. When the controversy started, she became a target of liberal attacks without any support from her conservative relatives. Perhaps the saddest part is that many doubt whether McEnany's position at Fox News will be sustainable in the long term. Some sources say her association with Trump was her greatest strength, and now her biggest liability. While her career and future hangs in the balance, Fox executives still struggle to respond without offending their pro-Trump audience or their commitment to credible journalism. Impacts of Trump's attack on McEnany and her future path. While Fox News has traditionally been viewed as a pro-Trump network, its audience is now more fragmented. Competing networks like Newsmax and One America News Network cater to viewers seeking unfiltered pro-Trump content. At the same time, Fox has increasingly positioned itself as a larger conservative platform, willing to feature dissenting voices within the Republican Party. For instance, this year's GOP primary was marked by increasing polarization, with some factions remaining fiercely loyal to Trump, while others supporting figures like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley.
Florida's Governor Ron DeSantis has expressed interest in being Donald Trump's pick for defense secretary.
Prominent Republicans expressed concern over Trump's public attack on McEnany. Many viewed McEnany as a dedicated conservative who faithfully served the party and the Trump administration. The incident raised alarms about Trump's treatment of former allies and whether his approach to loyalty was sustainable in the long term. After Trump's attack, McEnany adopted a strategic silence, refusing to engage in a public war of words. According to political analysts, other prominent conservatives who had faced Trump's wrath adopted a similar approach. What happened to McEnany also raised questions about the role of female voices in conservative media and politics. As one of the most prominent women in Trump's administration, she thrived in the male-dominated political administration with remarkable success. But the incident raised questions about the challenges faced by women in maintaining their standing within a movement that often places loyalty over individual agency. Female conservatives like Liz Cheney and Elise Stefanik have faced similar struggles. Cheney was removed from her leadership position for opposing Trump, while Stefanik rose by aligning herself closely with him. McEnany's situation sits somewhere in between because she remained loyal but was still subjected to public criticism, demonstrating the dangers of female leadership in this political environment. With Trump winning the 2024 presidential race, speculation about McEnany's future has intensified. Some believe she would walk away from television into a more active political role, perhaps aligning back with Donald Trump. Others suggest she may write a book detailing her experiences and exposing the inner workings of the Trump administration and the conservative media ecosystem. That is not all. There are rumors that McEnany could take on a more prominent role at another conservative media outlet, using her platform to shape the narrative around the Republican Party's future. Whether she remains aligned with Trump or distances herself will likely depend on how the next couple of months. As the President of the United States, Donald Trump will undoubtedly maintain dominance in the Republican Party. This means loyalty would remain a central tenet of the movement. The public fallout between Kayleigh McEnany and Donald Trump may have started with a simple polling statistic. Still, it has become a defining moment for her career and the conservative movement. As McEnany walks through the aftermath, her choices will likely influence her future and the direction of conservative media and Republican politics. Whether she continues to rise as a leading voice or becomes another casualty of Trump's political orbit remains to be seen.